Hello, everyone. I am Zargram Zanders, Magician Extraordinaire, and I want to welcome you all back to my studio. Today, we are planning to do some more Twitch Plays D&D. We start with you guys next to a river. This time, you guys have been given a very, very simple quest. Your mission is as follows. You have been asked by your best friend in the whole world to deliver a box. A wooden box to the city of Dale. So you have in your possession one wooden box. It's about 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. It's a very simple box, but you have agreed to do this because you owe your friend a favor. Now, you have an option. As you've been walking down the river road, you can do one of two things, because there is a bridge and there is a fork in the road, and you know from your local area that you could go either way along this bridge. So, there, that'll be the bridge. So, our first decision point will be this. Alright, here's our first poll of the game. Do you take the short but dangerous route across the bridge, or do you take the roundabout way, which is the long but safe route? So, you decide to bypass the bridge and go the safer route. Alright, so you decide to just ignore the bridge and you proceed onwards. You leave the bridge behind you as you decide to follow the river around towards Dale. As you're walking, you eventually start to notice that it starts to get a little bit dark. And you notice that there is a poor beggar by the road who seems to be absolutely starved. The beggar seems to be a poor old man who has an eye patch. And the beggar approaches you and asks you, Excuse me, laddie. Can you spare some gold for a poor old man? Now, what decision will you do? You have one choice of several to make. A beggar approaches you on the road. What do you do? Ignore them, ask for directions, give them some spare change, attack them. So the poll is closed. You guys have decided to give the beggar some spare change. Okie dokie. So you decide to do a good deed, and you approach the beggar. You give them some spare coins from your purse, or from your coin purse. And yes, back in the Middle Ages, it was called a coin purse. Wallet was later. Anyway, the beggar says, Oh, thank you, Sonny. Thank you. You're the only person who's passed by today. Everyone else has been scared about the ogre. You ask him, well, why are you begging on this road if there's an ogre? And the old man says, Well, it's certainly better than all the bandits along the bridge route. And besides, I get kicked out of all the towns for begging. As thanks for helping him for your charity, the old beggar decides to actually give you some good directions. You see, Sonny, there is an ogre that haunts this trail, and he only attacks at night, whereas the bandits on the other trail attack all the time. They'll attack you on sight. This ogre attacks only at night. I believe it hates the sunlight. But I have been able to avoid it by staying near the river. It does not like running water. If you stay near the river, the ogre should leave you be. So, with that, you continue on your way. Okay, now it's nighttime. Now, we have a choice of how you wish to proceed. So, night has fallen. How do we proceed? Option 1 will be march onwards through the night. Option 2 will be camp out in the nearby meadow where it looks comfy. Camp out by the river. Or go hunting for the ogre. So you guys have elected to camp out by the river, following the old beggar's advice. So you pitch your tent by the side of the river. And you set up the rudimentary alarm that you normally do, and you go to sleep for a little bit. In the night, you hear thud, thud, thud. You're awoken to the sound of the ground shaking. You spring out of your tent. You wake up, and you look around. On the other side of the road, where it's grassy and much closer to the meadow, you see a giant ogre. Ogre is on the other side of the road, and he looks at you, and he looks at the river, he's like, Rrr. Now, the ogre seems kind of put off by the river and the flowing water. You see the ogre clasp his hands to his ears as you clearly baited by the smell of you, but he doesn't like the sound of the river. Now, what do you do as the ogre seems to be making up his mind about whether or not you're worth putting up with the racket? The ogre is warded by the sounds of the river. What do you do? Go back to sleep is one option. The other is taunt it and smack your butt at it. Another one is cast a spell, attack it, or the fifth one option will be try to talk to it. You have decided to try to talk to it. You try conversing with the ogre, and you try speaking in some of the languages you know. You speak in Goblin, it's like, huh? You try speaking in Orc, it's like, oh, my river, my river, my river, my river. And as you speak to the ogre, you realize that it's very territorial, and it doesn't like people being close to its river. But then you ask it, if it's your river, why does the sound of it bother you? The ogre say, river lady mean! River lady make mean music. Make music keep ogre away. Music sound horrible, like cat on fire. Music bad. And you realize that you don't hear any music coming from the river. But the ogre certainly seems to, because as it's talking to you, it's just very annoyed by the sound of the river. You ask the ogre where this lady may be found. Ogre say, river lady in river! River lady at place where river fall down! River lady make rivers play nasty music! Ogre hate river! River sound bad! River sound like screamcore from mid-2000s! You can decide one of several things now that you have this information. The ogre is being harassed by some quote-unquote river lady at a place where the river falls down. What do you do? Option 1 will be offer to help the ogre, console the ogre, but continue on your own quest. Option 3 will be attack the ogre for the lulz, and option 4 will be cast a spell. You guys have agreed to offer to help the ogre. You go up to the ogre, and it seems more calm now that you're willing to listen to it, and you explain by speaking in Orcish that you're willing to help the ogre try and sleep. The ogre says, ogre plug ears with beeswax. It no help. Ogre try burying head in mud. It no help. Ogre try smashing ears. It no help. You then offer to help the ogre by saying, what if we go and speak to this lady to try and get them to stop up playing the music? The ogre say, ogre no know why lady play music. Ogre mad at lady because lady flooded ogre's house. Ogre threw rock at lady for flooding ogre house. Lady decide to do sparkles at ogre to play music from river all times. So you're able to deduce that the ogre was mad at this river lady, whoever that is, whether it's a nymph, whether it's just some person or whatever, because their house got flooded. Now I'm going to do a skill check to see if you guys can deduce what the cause of the flood may or may not have been. So we're going to roll that. 3, 2, 1. Boop. Okay, 19. You ask the ogre when the flood happened. Ogre say, 40 nights ago. And you realize that about a month ago, the first spring rains came and it caused a flash flooding in this area. You realize that it is very possible that the lady had nothing to do with the flood, and that the ogre just blamed the lady because he thought she had something to do with it. Thus started the quarrel between them. You try to explain this to the ogre, and we're going to roll a check for that. 3, 2, 1. Boop. 14 plus your skill check is 9. So that's 23. You explain to the ogre about how it's very possible that it was just the spring rains and nothing, and the ogre say, I don't care. Ogre, river still play music. Whether or not flood from lady or flood from rain. River play music. River keep ogre awake. Ogre mad. So, it seems that regardless of the truth of the matter, the ogre is still pretty pissed off about the river basically playing music at him, and it absolutely pisses him off. And it seems that the only way to deal with the situation is to go and deal with this river lady, whoever that is. You offer to help the ogre and say, hey, I am headed this way anyway. Let's go see this river lady. And ogre say, ugh, fine. Follow me, river lady near where river fall down. You also explain to the ogre that you need to rest because you've been traveling all day, and the ogre's like, fine. And I meet you when fire in sky back. The ogre then departs. You have successfully managed to get the ogre to leave without combat, so kudos to you. You go back to sleep. There you go. And you get a full night's rest, or the rest of the night's rest, I should really call it. And you're back at full stamina from that. The sun's back, and sure enough, as the sun rises, the ogre comes back. He is wearing, on his head, giant earmuffs made out of bear fur, and with all kinds of fluffy stuff. So he's really trying not to hear anything of what you're saying, or what the river's saying. You and the ogre meet up, and the ogre say, ogre take you to where river fall down. Follow. I can't. Ogre no hear you. The ogre moves on, galumphing down the road like wump, bump, 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 bump. And you travel behind, still carrying the box in your inventory, but it's like in your backpack. You follow the ogre for a few miles, actually, down the road. Remember, you took the circuitous route, so you're taking it for quite a ways. And you notice that there seem to be some dire foxes, not wolves, dire foxes that seem to be interested in you. Now, dire foxes are like a dire wolf. They have spikes and their fangs, and they tend to be pretty mean and nasty. Now, these dire foxes seem very interested in you guys as food. These dire foxes are following you guys. Now, they haven't attacked yet, but you are able to tell that these dire foxes will probably try to steal your stuff, or try to even attack you and try to get a cheap shot on you as you sleep. So, dire foxes are following you, looking for a chance to strike. What do? The first option will be to attack. Second option will be to cast a spell to confuse or scare them off. The other will be ignore them until they attack. And the fourth option will be run as fast as you can. So, you have decided to cast a spell to confuse or scare them off. You will now roll a magic check as you conjure up some magic to create a massive illusion of a giant or something very scary. You roll your magic check. Ooh, you rolled a 2. Okay. You spend some magic points. You cast a spell at them, and it does not go so well. Unfortunately, sorry. But you cast a spell to try and scare him off, and you make a big loud cloud. It was supposed to be a giant, but it came out as just this big swirly cloud of magic that just has a big scary face in it. Okay, you rolled a combined 10 on your magic check, so that's 2 plus 8. They're dire foxes. They don't have a magic skill, so they're just going to have a raw d20 roll. Here's their roll. 6. And for the other one, 17. Okay, one of the dire foxes actually poops itself. It's so scared by your spell. And it runs away, absolutely terrified. The other fox is not scared, but it does the thing that animals do, like where if one member of its group runs, it runs too. So it didn't seem to be very impressed by your spell, but it ran because its partner went away. The ogre looks at you and say, "Ogre, no, you magic person." You explain to the ogre that you are indeed a spellcaster, and the ogre gives you a shifty look. We are at a point where the ogre seems a little bit suspicious of you. It seems that the ogre is a bit prejudiced against magic casters, especially because the river lady has been doing stuff to him. You guys proceed down the road as the dire foxes have left. You eventually come to a rapid in the river. But there is a problem. As you come to the rapids, the ogre says, "River fall down past here." And the ogre points across rapids, and you see through the trees that there is a place where the river bends, or where the road no longer follows the river. The road actually diverges from it, and the river leads back upstream towards the hill. Uphill, I should say. So, you have a choice to make. How do you cross the rapids in the river? ask the ogre to carry you, cast a spell to transport you across, try to swim across, give up, sit down, and cry. You have elected to ask the ogre to carry you. You say to the ogre that you would probably perish if you tried swimming across the rapids. The ogre say, "Why not use magic?" And to which you explain that you want to conserve your magic for when for the river lady in case she's an enemy. The ogre relents and he's like, "Fine," and he lifts you up and he puts you on his shoulders. The ogre picks you up and slings you over the shoulder like Shrek slinging Fiona over his shoulder. And with that, he easily wades across the rapids. He sets you down on the other side of the thing, and he starts walking through the forest. With that, you have left the road behind. You are now walking through the woods. You are now using more stamina to actually walk off the road. So your stamina will deplete a bit sooner because you have to hike over rough terrain. You're following the ogre through the forest when, guess who it is again? The dire foxes are back, but one of them seems a lot more scared of you this time. So, the ogre is getting frustrated by these things, but the dire foxes are still stalking you. Back. They look wary, but not easily fooled. What do? Attack them. Cast another spell, run for it. Another one will just be ignore them and keep hiking. You have decided to cast another spell. So, what you do is you try the same spell from before to scare them. They are used to this, or they're not as used to this, but you're going to burn some extra mana, and you're going to go back down to 15 magic points out of 28. As you cast the spell, you're going to roll to see how well you cast it this time. So rolling a magic check in 3, 2, 1, boop! 17 plus 8. And here are their saves. 18! And 10. One is scared again, but the other one does not seem nearly as impressed this time. But as one of the foxes turns to run away, as one of the foxes turns to flee, the other one nips at it like, and then it lunges at you. Because clearly this fox, it's not very impressed by your spell, but it doesn't exactly care because it doesn't think your spell's going to do anything. As it lunges forward, the ogre slams its fist down. 15 plus it's 5, and the fox has to dodge. 11 plus 2. The ogre slams the ground and it creates a shocking tremor. This time, the foxes have to roll to resist being afraid. 17 and 1. The other fox just bolts and just, pieces out of there, while the other dire fox is just growling. It's too brave for this, so it's not going to abandon. It's not going to just run away. It seems hell-bent on Peepo, but you can have one more shot with your spell. So you try to make the spell even scarier. You try to make it even scarier. So you're going to roll your next Arcana or Magic check. Rolling in 3, 2, 1, boop. 15 versus it. It rolled a 15, but you have plus 8. So eventually the fox realizes that even if it's not that scared, it's still outnumbered and outgunned, and it's like, ugh. It seems very annoyed, but it runs away too. But it's giving this whole look like, I'll be back. It goes away, and the ogre and you give each other a nod, and you proceed onwards. Alright, after much ado, we finally arrive at the place where the water falls down. As you approach the waterfall, you see, indeed, a river sprite. Singing to the fish. It is an androgynous-looking river spirit, and the river sprite says, "You!" And the ogre's like, "Ah, it's you again, the one who makes the river sing to me all the time." And these two start exchanging insults and blaming each other and getting mad at each other. You realize that this is coming to a head, and you need to think quickly about what you're going to do. So, the ogre and the river sprite are arguing, and it's intensifying. What do you do? Try to negotiate and explain the situation. Surprise attack the ogre. Fourth option will be walk away. Fifth option will be cast a spell to calm them both down. So you have voted to try and negotiate and explain the situation. Now, we're going to roll to see if you succeed in doing that. So here comes the roll. Ready? 3, 2, 1, boop! 11 plus skill plus 9, so 20. Here is going to be the roll, or the, conversation roll of the sprite. Boom. It rolled a 2. So the sprite is willing to listen to your reason. Let's see how the ogre deals with it. 20. The ogre is just pissed off and is just angry because apparently the song is really bad here, and it's getting even through his earmuffs. Now, the sprite listens to you and says, wait, he thought I was responsible for the flood? No, that was because of the spring rains. It wasn't me. I don't flood the river unless I absolutely have to. And the ogre can't even hear at this point. It's just too mad, and it's just, stomping around and trying to cover its ears. The river sprite says that it will stop the spell if the ogre apologizes. So you try to explain to the ogre, and you lead it away from there, and here's your attempt to negotiate with the ogre. Ready? 3, 2, 1, boop! 19, and here's the ogre's conversation roll. Skill check. 3. After you get it far away from the waterfall, which was really pissing the ogre off, you're able to explain that it will, that the sprite will stop the spell if the ogre apologizes. So the ogre is like, ugh, ogre proud. Ogre from Proud Clan. Ogre don't make apologies, but ogre wants spell gone. The ogre agrees to apologize if it's kept a secret between all three of you. The sprite says it won't, it'll keep it a secret. And I'm going to assume that because you've been taking the diplomatic route, that you'll keep it a secret too. You go back towards the water sprite with the ogre, and you say that the ogre will apologize. The ogre comes up, and it awkwardly bows, and grumbles the words, ogre is sorry. With that, the river spirit says, apology accepted, and snaps its fingers. The ogre looks around suddenly, and then takes its earmuffs off. The ogre's like, the song, it's gone! And the sprite says, yes, I believe our quarrel is concluded. And with that, the ogre picks you up and hugs you, and nods towards the river spirit, or river sprite, and says, thank you. Ogre, go home now. Or the ogre then takes a few steps, whomp, 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 and then it comes back, whomp, whomp, whomp. And the ogre says, here, ogre find this in cave. Ogre no like it, but you can have. The ogre gives you a golden medallion with a ruby in the center. You get some bling from the ogre. You get some bling from the thing. It is a gorgeous looking amulet with a ruby, a giant ruby, like Amulet of Kings from Oblivion-sized ruby, right there in the center. You put it on and you feel invigorated. This is an amulet of health. This boosts your health by, let's say, 2d12. This boosts your health by 14 points. So I'm going to say, so it gives you like temporary hit points. So it gives you 2d12 worth of temporary hit points, and it's shiny as hell. With that, you make your way back to the road, all the way back from the ogre and the forest and the river sprite. With that, you backtrack all the way, and you do expend some stamina doing that. So you go back down. You're down to like 5 stamina by now, because it was quite a hike here and quite a hike back. So by now, you make your way back to the road. And night has basically started to fall by now. Now, as you're getting ready to set up camp again, you are once again attacked or being stalked by the dire foxes. They just do not give up. Before you can even get your camp ready, these dire foxes are really are after you, and they seem actually pretty hungry by now. At this point, they do not wait. They do not wait or crawl up. At this point, they straight up jump you. So we can handle combat in one of several ways. Dire foxes jump you as you set up camp. How do you defend yourself? Fight with melee. Fight with magic. Run away. Try to tame them. You already voted for 4, so you're gonna try to tame them. Interesting. All right. Well, that's going to be a very difficult DC, but you use some extra food from your pack, you throw it on the ground, and you try diplomatizing with the animals. So here we go. We're gonna make this is gonna be a difficult check, but it's gonna be a DC 22 altogether. So rolling 3, 2, 1, boop, 15 plus skill of 9, 24. You're able to actually the foxes were stalking you and hunting you because they were quite hungry. But you're able to kind of get them to calm down, and you're able to tame one of them. One of them seems like the more shy one, and it seems a lot more interested in you. The other fox tries to bully it and try to be mean and you can see that one of these foxes bullies the other one. But you're able to make friends with the nice fox, the nice but very shy fox. And the mean fox gets mad and tries attacking you, but as you are making nice to the nice fox, it stands up and it starts growling and, warding off the mean fox. The mean fox is upset, mad, but it seems thoroughly done with with all this shit, and it just leaves. So you now have a little dire fox friend. It likes you because you give it all the foods and the head pats. You now have a pet dire fox that likes to follow you around. All right, so you decided to name your animal companion dire fox Aquin. All right, you guys, you're able to sleep through the night, and Aquin actually keeps watch for you. Night passes, and you and Aquin, I almost want to call him Acorn now. When we last left off, you guys had just woken up from that, and you're going down the road. It's been about a whole day it's been a day and a half of travel, or not day, it's been a lot of travel for you guys. But you make it down the road, and as you get closer to town, there's fewer and fewer issues. Eventually, you reach the town. So you have arrived in the town of Dale. So you're in town, and you start looking around for your friend, for your friend's friend that you're supposed to deliver the box to. You're poking around the town, and you ask people if the Weaver is in town. They give you directions, and you go to the Weaver. The Weaver is a spider woman, literally. They are half spider, half human. Now, the Weaver is there to accept the box. And she says to you, "Oh, thank you so much for coming." The Weaver comes up to you and opens the box. Inside is a pelt rolled up of dragon skin. And the Weaver says that they also do some sewing on the side. And she says, "Oh, thank you. But there's a problem here. I need another component, a special needle to sew with this. Maybe you'd be interested in helping me acquire the needle. I've already sent another courier to pay for this cloth, but I need someone to get a special needle so I can make a certain thing I want to make. Would you be willing to go and fetch it for me?" So, we're going to make this our next poll. Weaver is offering to pay you to bring her a magical sewing needle. What do? Accept, decline. All right, so our players have voted to accept the quest. She explains to you that she will pay you a shit ton of money if you go to Deathgaze Cave, where basilisks reside, and if you recover the needle, the magical needle, which should be kept inside. She says that it is a very dangerous place to go, and that basilisks are inside. She says that this particular species of basilisk, if you meet their gaze. So if you wish to get deep inside the cave, you will need to protect your eyes. There are several ways you could go about doing this. She says one way is to cast a spell on your eyes to protect you, but it limits your vision. Another way is to get dwarven goggles, or dwarven fireworking goggles, which are tinted and can be enchanted to protect you from gaze attacks, but that'll take a bit longer. And the third option is to just go there with a mirror and just check around corners. So, you guys have voted to accept the quest, but we're going right into another decision point. The next question is this. The cave is infested with basilisks. They can petrify you if you meet their gaze. What do you do to protect yourself? Get dwarven welding goggles and get them enchanted. Get a hand mirror, check around corners, and hope for the best. Find the town mage to get a special spell cast on you that will wear off eventually. Get cold feet and decline the quest. So you guys have voted to get the kick-ass dwarven goggles. You ask the lady, who I'm going to name now, Stella. We'll call her Stella. Stella the Arachne. You ask Stella to please look after your pet dire fox, and you're going to roll a skill check to convince your dire fox to stay with them, because I don't know about you, but I don't think it's a good idea to take your brand new best friend animal to a place where it could easily get killed. So unless there's an objection in the chat, I'm going to say that you're going to ask Stella to look after your fox for you. You guys, you leave your Akeen Akeen, how you pronounce it? The dire fox with Stella the weaver. You decide to go to the local smith. So boom, boom, and you go to the local smith and you ask them for some dwarven welding goggles. They have some, but there's a problem. They want the amulet you have. They will trade you the goggles for the amulet. Do you accept the trade? Okay, or do you try to buy them for straight up money? Blacksmith will trade you some goggles for your amulet. What do? Trade for the goggles is one option. Buy the amulet outright. Walk away. Alright, you have opted to trade the amulet of health for the goggles of gaze protection. So, we're going to go here, and we're going to get rid of the amulet of health. It's no more. And we're going to make some kick-ass steampunky goggles. And we're going to put them on Peepo. And these are based off of welding goggles, so they're going to be pretty dark. Sorry. It's kind of, I'm sorry. It's kind of funny looking. But you have the goggles of gaze protection now. I'm sorry. It's just really funny. I'm sorry, but I don't know why, but that looks really funny to me. So they have brass rims and dark tinted. They're like dark tinted things, but they're enchanted so that they will protect you from stuff. With that, you return to Stella the Arachne with your fox Akeen, and she tells you that she gives you directions of how to get to the cave. It's a several days journey. But most creatures tend to avoid their territory because they don't want to be killed by a basilisk. So, with that, you have completed the original quest of delivering the package. Good job, chap. And you are now getting ready for your next part of the quest to get the magical needle from Death Gaze Cave, where the basilisks lie. You have prepared, and you'll be ready for next week.